Today, we remember and honor influential figures from music, literature, politics, and journalism who've passed away. Their contributions shaped industries, inspired generations, and left lasting legacies. Number 7. Walter Robinson, a painter, a writer, a critic, and a quiet yet profound voice in the New York art world. He was a man who never sought the spotlight, yet shaped the scene in ways that only now, in the wake of his passing, are fully understood. Born on July 18, 1950 in Wilmington, Delaware, and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Robinson's artistic journey would take him to the heart of New York City. He would there become a defining voice of his era. On February 9, 2025, Robinson passed away at the age of 74 after a battle with cancer, but his influence on art, criticism, and culture will endure. His passion for art criticism ignited at Columbia, where he was mentored by Brian O'Doherty, a noted art critic and editor at Art in America. Alongside Edith Deek and Joshua Cohn, Robinson co-founded Art-Right, a radical punk-inspired art magazine that rejected the academic tone of publications like Art Forum. By the 1980s, Robinson had fully immersed himself in the New York art world, not just as a critic, but as a painter. He became a key yet underappreciated member of the Pictures generation, a movement known for its appropriation of mass media imagery. While others turned to photography, Robinson turned to painting. He translated the covers of pulp romance novels into large, lush paintings dripping with both irony and sincerity. He painted cheeseburgers, beer cans, aspirin bottles, and Vaseline jars, everyday objects rendered in a distinctly American palette. His style? Some called it neopop, others postmodern realism, but critic Peter Sheldall perhaps described it best, saying, "A matinee of hot babes and a Mirandy of McDonald's French fries." In 2014, Robinson's paintings finally received long overdue recognition with a touring retrospective created by Barry Blinderman. It traveled from Illinois State University to Moore College of Art and finally landed in New York's Jeffrey Deitch Gallery in 2016. Robinson was married 4 times. His first wife, Beatrice Smith, passed away from AIDS in 1988, shortly after they adopted their daughter, Antonia. His final marriage to Lisa Rosen lasted from 2000 until his death in 2025. In his final years, Robinson continued to paint, now incorporating AI-generated imagery into his work. He remained sharp-witted and outspoken, posting his thoughts on social media right up until his last days. Number 6. Hip-hop has lost a legend in Irv Gotti, a visionary producer and a man whose name is etched in the very foundation of rap music. He passed away on February 5, 2025 at 54. He co-founded Murder Inc. Records in 1998, shaping the careers of Jay-Z, DMX, Ja Rule, and Ashanti. Born on June 26, 1970 in the Hollis neighborhood of Queens, New York, Irv came from humble beginnings. His father, a taxicab driver, worked hard to support his family, which included Irv's 6 siblings. Irv developed a love for music as a teen. He started DJing, discovered rapper Mick Geronimo, and worked with Jay-Z, producing Can I Live on Reasonable Doubt in 1996. His big break came in 1998 with DMX's debut album, which went quadruple platinum. Def Jam gave him his own label, Murder Inc. The first release, Ja Rule's Veni Vedi Veci 1999, was an outstanding success. Irv produced hits like I'm Real Murder Remix, Always on Time, and Foolish, defining early 2000s hip-hop. He created the BET series Tales and continued to produce. His work spanned decades, from Jennifer Lopez to Kanye West's 2018 song Violent Crimes. But success came with controversy. In 2003, the Murder Inc. offices were raided by federal agents. Authorities accused Irv and his brother of laundering money for drug kingpin Kenneth Supreme McGriff. The case went to trial in 2005, and despite the odds stacked against them, the Gotti brothers were acquitted of all charges. In early 2024, he suffered a minor stroke due to complications from diabetes. He changed his lifestyle, but the damage was already done. On February 5th, 2025, Irv Gotti suffered a fatal stroke. His impact on hip-hop is undeniable, and his legacy lives on in the music he helped create. Number 5. On February 9th, 2025, the world lost Beverly Barton Byron, a trailblazer in American politics who spent 14 years fighting for gender equality in the military and environmental conservation. A devoted public servant, a champion of national security, and a voice for Maryland's 6th Congressional District, Beverly died at the age of 92. Born on July 27, 1932 in Baltimore, Maryland, to Harry and Ruth Butcher, Beverly Barton Butcher grew up in Washington, D.C., where she was exposed to political leaders from an early age, as her father, a vice president at CBS, became an aide to General Dwight D. Eisenhower during World War II. She graduated from the National Cathedral School in 1950 and later attended Hood College. In 1952, she married Goodloe Byron, a rising political figure. After his sudden death in 1978, Beverly was asked to take his place on the ballot, and in the election that followed, she won. On January 3, 1979, she was sworn in as a member of the 96th Congress. She became a national leader on defense, chairing the House Special Panel on Arms Control and leading efforts to integrate women into combat roles through the 1991 Byron Amendment. She also championed conservation efforts, sponsoring the 1983 Rails to Trails Act and the 1992 American Discovery Trail legislation. After leaving Congress, Byron served on key advisory roles and remained active in policy. She married B. Kirk Walsh in 1986 and enjoyed time with her children and grandchildren. Number 4. Thomas Eugene Robbins, visionary, provocateur, and master of absurdist comedy, left this world on February 9, 2025 at the age of 92. With his passing, literature loses one of its most eccentric and vibrant voices. Today, we honor the life of a man who blended the philosophical with the comical, the sacred with the profane, and in doing so, forever changed the landscape of contemporary fiction. Born on July 22, 1932, in the small town of Blowing Rock, North Carolina, Robbins grew up surrounded by the echoes of Southern Baptist sermons, as both of his grandfathers were preachers. He later described himself as a hillbilly, but one with an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and adventure. His family moved to Warsaw, Virginia, where he attended Warsaw High School and later Hargrave Military Academy, winning a senior essay medal. In 1953, Robbins received his draft notice and enlisted in the United States Air Force, serving as a meteorologist in Korea and later in Nebraska with the Strategic Air Command. Discharged in 1957, he returned to Richmond, Virginia, where poetry readings at the Rhinoceros Coffee House earned him a reputation among the local bohemian crowd. But it was in the late 1960s that Robbins found his true calling. In 1967, while writing a review of The Doors, he had an epiphany. His literary voice had emerged. That voice would become one of the most unique in modern American fiction. His debut novel, Another Roadside Attraction, was published in 1971. Despite his playful irreverence, Robbins was deeply serious about literature. In 1997, he was awarded the Bumbershoot Golden Umbrella Award for Lifetime Achievement. In 2000, Writer's Digest named him one of the 100 best writers of the 20th century. In 2012, the Library of Virginia honored him with its Literary Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2015, he received the Willamette Writers' Lifetime Achievement Award. While we mourn his passing, we also celebrate a life well lived. His words will continue to inspire generations to come. Though he's no longer with us in body, his spirit remains in every page he wrote, every idea he shared, and every heart he touched. Number 3. We pause to honor and remember a broadcasting legend, Dennis Richmond, who passed away on February 5th, 2025 at the age of 81. Born on May 26, 1943 in Rossford, Ohio, Dennis Richmond's journey into journalism was both unconventional and inspiring. After graduating from Rossford High School in 1961, he served with distinction in the United States Army's 82nd Airborne Division from 1961 to 1964. Following his military service, Dennis pursued higher education at Wayne State University in Detroit between 1965 and 1967. His academic journey led him to the Columbia University Graduate School of Journalism in 1969 thanks to a scholarship he earned while working at KTVU. Dennis began his illustrious career at KTVU on April 23, 1968, starting as a clerk typist. His dedication and talent quickly propelled him to the anchor desk in 1976, making him one of the first African Americans to become chief anchor of a major market TV newscast. Throughout his tenure, Dennis co-anchored with esteemed colleagues including Barbara Simpson, Elaine Coral, Leslie Griffith, and Julie Hayner. His authoritative presence and commitment to journalistic integrity made him a trusted figure in Bay Area news. After 40 years with KTVU, 31 of them as an anchor, Dennis retired on his 65th birthday, May 26th of 2008. His final broadcast drew 400,000 viewers, a testament to the profound impact he had on the community. Dennis's contributions extended beyond the newsroom. He was a member of the board of directors of the Child Abuse Consortium, served as the general chairperson of the YMCA fundraising drive for Alameda County, and participated in the Oakland Mayor's Blue Ribbon Committee to save high school sports. His former co-anchor, Julie Hayner, shared that he suffered a heart attack and a fall weeks before his passing. Dennis Richmond's legacy is one of dedication, integrity, and trailblazing achievements. He set a standard for journalism that will inspire future generations. Our thoughts and deepest condolences go out to his family, friends, and all who were touched by his remarkable life. Number 2. A brilliant record producer, sound engineer, and mixer, Dave Jerden shaped the sound of rock and alternative music from the late 1980s through the 1990s. He worked with legendary bands like Jane's Addiction, Alice in Chains, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and The Offspring. On February 5th, 2025, at the age of 75, Dave Jerden passed away peacefully in his sleep. His influence on the music industry will never be forgotten. Dave began his career as an audio engineer at El Dorado Recording Studios in Hollywood during the late 1970s. He worked with some of the biggest names in music, engineering and mixing albums for the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, Talking Heads, Frank Zappa, and Herbie Hancock. His keen ear for sound and his meticulous attention to detail made him a sought-after name in the industry. Jerden's transition to producing came in the late 1980s when he worked with Jane's Addiction on Nothing Shocking 1988 and Ritual de lo Habitual 1990. He then collaborated with Alice in Chains, producing their groundbreaking debut album Facelift 1990 and its follow-up Dirt 1992. These albums, with their raw and haunting soundscapes, defined the grunge movement that would take over the 1990s. Despite his immense success, Jerden never craved the spotlight. He considered himself more of an engineer than a producer, always focused on technical aspects of sound rather than personal fame. He was also a devoted father to Michelle and Brian, who shared touching tributes to him following his passing. Jane's Addiction guitarist Dave Navarro also paid tribute, calling Jerden a founding family member of the band and thanking him for helping them shape their sound through exploration rather than agenda. Number 1. The world of progressive rock has lost one of its pioneering figures. Mike Ratledge, the legendary keyboardist and composer, passed away on February 5th, 2025 at the age of 81. As a founding member of Soft Machine, Ratledge helped define the Canterbury scene, blending jazz, rock, and avant-garde elements into a revolutionary sound. Today, we honor his life, his music, and his lasting legacy. Born on May 6, 1943 in Maidstone, Kent, Mike Ratledge was raised in a household where only classical music was allowed. He learned piano as a child and later met future bandmates Brian Hopper, Hugh Hopper, and Robert Wyatt while attending Simon Langton Grammar School in Canterbury. His introduction to jazz came in the early 1960s thanks to Australian musician David Allen, who exposed him to the works of Thelonious Monk, John Coltrane, and Miles Davis. By 1963, Ratledge played in the David Allen Trio before deciding to further his education at Oxford University, where he studied psychology and philosophy. But music remained his true calling. Ratledge's signature fuzz-driven organ sound became a defining feature of the band's early work. He contributed heavily to landmark albums such as Volume 2, 1969, and 3rd, 1970, the latter of which Rolling Stone later hailed as one of the greatest prog rock albums of all time. In the 80s and 90s, Ratledge collaborated with Carl Jenkins on various projects, including the globally successful Audiana's Songs of Sanctuary 1995, where he played a crucial role in programming electronic percussion. His work continued into the 2010s with the albums Movement and Some Shufflin'. His music influenced generations of musicians and helped shape the Canterbury scene. His former bandmate John Etheridge paid tribute, saying, "Mike was the backbone of Soft Machine, a marvelously intelligent, talented, and cultured man. His loss is immeasurable."